Matt-Trakker's gonna live the nation, and Spectrum's got such supervision. Mouse is a mighty power that could save the day. Mouse, no one knows what lies behind the mask charade. Mouse, always riding out on Venom's trail. Comes to the laser rays, fire away.
Hey everybody, it's Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Mask. Now, one of the first videos I ever did on YouTube was a Boulder Hill review. And if you've watched that, it's one of the higher view counts that I've had, and no work went into it. It's kind of funny, but I guess I hit the points that were there that needed to be hit, and it got the point across. I'm going to revisit Boulder Hill in more detail because it deserves it. But one of the things that I've always hated about it is the scaling. You can't, like when you were a kid, you can't actually reenact anything that you wanted to do. If you saw a cartoon, like you got the team assembled, you're trying to get everybody out the door, and anything larger than slingshot doesn't fit. So you have to wonder, how would it fit? Unless you're doing some really, really gigantic customizations to this thing. I was kind of curious, and what I did was I have Photoshop open here, and I scaled it up to where Rhino, which is the one that I pointed out in the first review, would fit. It's kind of odd, to say the least, because I never thought to do this, but you'll see the size difference in a second. So here's Photoshop. Here's the picture of Boulder Hill. There's some cat hair there too. If you want that, that's for you. I didn't transform it fully, but what I wanted to do is show you the door to come out, and then show you Rhino on top of it with an opacity. So you can see that Rhino can't fit just by looking at that shot. If you can suspend your disbelief when you were a kid, you can just start Rhino from the tail out and do it that way, but that doesn't fly anymore. So very simply, I made a duplicate layer here, and well, let's take a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the opacity here real quick on Rhino, and just keep it there. Now I'm going to turn this layer on, and that's the size difference on the picture that I would need in order for Rhino to fit, in theory. So I'm gonna set an opacity here, so you can see the bottom picture and see the difference in size. I don't have the exact equation of this, but I'm looking at it, and it's like, if they took it to scale for what they had, Boulder Hill would have to be the size of a love seat, essentially, in order for it to fully work as it should have. And you couldn't fit Rhino, you can't fit Outlaw, Volcano, forget about it. None of them fit. But this is just Rhino. Volcano is even harder because it's wider. So it's kind of funny in that sense. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off that bottom layer, and I'm going to turn the Rhino layer back on. And now you can see what size it actually needed to scale to. Naturally, the pumps would probably be smaller because you're going to have the gas pump there. But the opening itself and the Boulder Hill portion of it, the scale of it, whether you're doing the defense mode door or the regular door, it's the same premise. You'd have to have it be love seat sized. So I can kind of fully understand why that really couldn't be manufactured. If you know how big the Boulder Hill box is already, and I'll post a picture here compared to like the Thunderhawk box, it would have been monumental. And yeah, there was the flag from G.I. Joe, right? But there was a different backing. There was a different... you could take that risk and have it pay off or not pay off, but it's still worth doing. Boulder Hill was ambitious enough as it is, but then you're going to take it and make it the size of a love seat. I don't really see how that's a viable option for anybody. The cost of it probably would have been about $200, give or take. Nobody's going to buy that for their kids back then. When I've polled people in the past, your first toys were Piranha and Condor because they were affordable. Unless you were rich and then you got like Switchblade first. So think about it. Think about the logistics of it. Think about why it happened the way it did. And appreciate the fact that we still got Boulder Hill. Yeah, it still bothers me. But the fact that we still have it, and the fact that it's still sitting right there behind me, in all its glory, I'm very lucky and very thankful. Now, again, my math here, I'm not great at it, but I do know visual elements, and I do know a lot about Photoshop and how to manipulate these things. So I'm pretty confident in that aspect anyway. But think about that. Think about the size that would need to be. And think about if there's any way that would ever have actually worked back in 1985 when this was produced. If you have an idea of how that could have happened, post it in the comments. Please like, subscribe. I appreciate all the support we've been getting lately. And I hope that you and your family are staying safe. And until next time, this is Bill from Matt-Trakker.com, and I'll talk to you later.
And Spectrum's got such super vision.